Hey everybody, welcome to my kitchen. Today is day 24 of our coronavirus lockdown and actually day 20 of me not having an oven. So I shared with you on an earlier blog post that on day number 4 of this lockdown and stay in place order that our governor here in New Jersey imposed, my oven went. And so of course you call the gas company and you have worry-free service and all these other things. And they were like, yeah, no, we're not sending anybody out. So I was like, oh boy, what do I do with all the frozen food, cookie dough, raw cookie dough, and things that you would normally put in an oven? So I've had to get really creative on how to feed a family of 4 breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the last however many days we've been involved in this stay in place order. Well, wait, not necessarily lunch, but definitely breakfast and dinner. And I've got big people, so it's no easy feat. Today, I'm making chicken, which I've become the master of making chicken on the top of the stove, with an Asian nut inspired sauce. I've never made this before. I tried it, but I've never actually made it for real. And so today is going to be my first day. So I'm going to walk you through the ingredients that I'm using. Then I'll share with you the portions, and then we'll take it on over to the stove. The first thing is this chicken. This chicken is like a godsend. It is Perdue boneless, skinless chicken thighs. This one is $2.49 a pound. Sometimes I can get it for $1.99 a pound, and when I do, I buy a couple of packs and just stick it in the freezer. There are 6 pieces in here, and this was $5.85, so it's almost like $1 a piece. So I'm using 2 packs. Since there's 4 of us, we usually eat about 2 pieces each, and so that'll leave a little bit extra if anybody wants to have some for lunch tomorrow, or maybe just kind of stash it in the back of the fridge for like a day or 2 later. I also bought, these are really good cashews. This is Terrafina. Well, it's open. That's because I took a couple handfuls out already. But Terrafina cashews are really good. This is 12 ounces. And it was, I think, like $5.99 or $6.99. So this is really good. I also am using Asian Zinc sauce. This is going to add a little bit of spice. I only need a little bit, but this was the smallest bottle. So they have this at Buffalo Wild Wings. So it's a Buffalo Wild Wings inspired sauce. I have ginger. The ginger root, this was connected, but I'm using about a finger's worth, about a whole finger. Can you see that? Because we have a lot of chicken. Ginger you have to be really careful with, but I'm cooking 12 thighs. So I want to make sure you can taste the ginger without it being too overwhelming. Definitely vegetable oil, real easy. The recipe calls for just a little bit of lime juice. Some people use the lime juice where it's already in the container and you can just squirt it. A lime is so inexpensive. I just would rather use a fresh lime. Definitely soy sauce. I did not buy a bottle of soy sauce. I already had this, so we can use that. You have to use peanut butter. So this is just regular ShopRite brand peanut butter. Thyme, which is going to go when I start to season and saute the chicken in a pan. Here's where it gets funny. The recipe calls for maple syrup, which I don't have any. I don't even eat this. Let me just be clear. Nothing wrong with this syrup. I personally don't eat it on my pancakes, but my children love it. And then I realized I don't have any of my maple syrup, so I'm using Miss Butterworth's. I told you, I don't know how this is going to come out, but I'm hopeful. Let's be hopeful. That's the word of today, hopeful. So it should be okay. And then, of course, we need our Thai noodles. These Thai noodles are absolutely amazing because you boil the water. Once it's boiling and bubbling, you throw these in and let it sit for 4 to 6 minutes, you know, depending on the texture. So simple. And then for a vegetable, I have chopped broccoli in the freezer that I'm just going to toss in. So that's pretty simple. Let me just share with you the actual recipe with the quantities, and I'll put it on my blog, Garden Sugar, so everything will be right there. So you're using a ½ cup of salted creamy peanut butter, or you can also substitute almond butter or sunflower butter, but I prefer the peanut butter because I just love the peanutty. I just love the nut taste in everything, even my coffee. 2 to 3 tablespoons of gluten-free tamari. I don't have that, so that's why I'm substituting the soy sauce. 1 to 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Y'all already saw what my substitution for the maple syrup is. A teaspoon of chili garlic sauce, or a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flake. I'm choosing to use the sauce. This sauce, it's gonna do the same job. I just didn't want to use pepper flakes. 2 to 3 tablespoons of lime juice. That's so simple. Cut the lime, squeeze it, and then a 1/4 cup of water to thin the sauce out. So this should be really fun and interesting. The first step, I have already about 1.5 inches. I coated in a big glass pot, about 1.5 inches of vegetable oil. That's already starting to get a little warm. I'm going to chop up some fresh garlic, throw the chicken in, let that cook. I'm going to also put in the thyme and just a few other little things, a little salt and pepper, of course, and let that cook for about half an hour. You know, turn that over slowly. So while that's cooking, I'll be preparing the sauce. So in the meantime, get all your ingredients ready, and I'll meet you over at the stove. So right now, this is the glass pot, like a nice big glass Pyrex. I had about 1.5 inches of cooking oil, vegetable oil in the pot. I let it get hot. I threw in the 12 skinless, boneless Perdue chicken thighs. I sprinkled some salt and pepper right on top. I'm going to let this cook for about 10 minutes as is. The time is now 5:55. Going to let it cook for about 10 minutes as is. Then I'll slowly turn it. In the meantime, I'm going to start making the peanut sauce. The chicken is almost finished has almost finished cooking, so I chopped up the pieces of ginger, left them pretty big, and so while it's in its last stages, I didn't want it to get too mushy. I wanted to leave some consistency. So now I have the ginger. I'm just going to stir that in, fold it in a little bit into the gravy. Put the lid back on and let that keep cooking. 6:36. Okay, so in this mixture we have, of course, the peanut butter. We have the soy sauce. We have a smidgen of this this Asian Zinc chili pepper. We have my version of the maple syrup. And now I'm getting ready to squeeze in. The recipe calls for just 2 to 3 tablespoons of lime juice. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it right now. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Maybe I should have gotten a juicier lime, but I got some out. Okay. So now the last thing we have to add is the water. And now the mixing begins. Well, it's not mixing as bad as I thought it would be. It's actually a little bit easier. I just am using a really large tablespoon, and we're just going to mix this up and get ready to make it happen. So I've been stirring for the last minute, and this actually is turning into this really awesome sauce. I don't know, I was a little skeptical because it was just looking kind of janky, but this is actually what I wanted. Oh my God, this is going to be so good. So what my intention, because I believe we have to work with intention, is going to be to now make these Thai noodles, which literally takes 5 minutes. I'm probably going to make more sauce, add more peanut butter, because I want a lot of sauce. And then I'm going to mix the noodles into here and serve it with the chicken and the broccoli. Woohoo! This is turning out a lot better than I thought it would be. This looks great. This is amazing. The sauce, I added a little bit more water to it, a little bit more syrup, and a little more cayenne pepper because I wanted it a little more loose. And we're gonna soak, I'm getting ready to put the noodles in now, and we're gonna soak the noodles, and then when the noodles are done, we're going to mix this wonderful peanut mixture into the noodles. I'm having tons of fun, but I think I'm gonna probably have to buy some type of a stand to be able to use two hands to do this. So I'm gonna turn this off and get the noodles in the water. Okay, so I'm literally dumping the noodles in the water as the instructions said. And they said let them soak for 8 to 10 minutes. So let's do that. And I'll come back in 8 to 10 minutes. I love it. The noodles are done. The chicken is cooked. Looks delicious. And I steamed some broccoli behind the scenes. And so here is the sauce. It's a beautiful, beautiful consistency. Oh, I forgot the cashews. Okay, so let me remember, everybody. I said I had never done this before, so this is going to be interesting. So what I'm going to do, this is kind of tricky trying to hold the phone and do it at the same time. Do it at the same time without making a mess. So what I want to do, so here's the challenge. My two sons don't eat peanuts or don't want peanut sauce. So what I did was, I did that, poured a little bit of the peanut sauce onto the noodles. I'm just going to take a handful of cashews and put them on top and mix it in. Let's see what happens. Oh my goodness. This looks delicious. And then I'm going to put some chicken on top and taste it. This looks really good. I'm so proud of myself. It looks amazing. I wish I had a garnish. I don't know what I'll probably, maybe squeeze some lemon on it, a little more lemon. I don't know, I wish I had a garnish. But anyway, this looks delicious. I'm getting ready to enjoy it right now. So here we are, and here is what the finished meal looks like. It is delicious. There are the noodles, the broccoli, pieces of nice tender chicken, and cashews. So what I did was I took the noodles, because everybody didn't want peanut sauce or didn't want the nut sauce on their noodles, and I wanted a lot of it. So I drizzled some of the sauce on top of the noodles and mixed the broccoli in and then put the chicken in. And oh my goodness, it's delicious. It's sweet. It's definitely sweet because of the maple, or my Mrs. Butterworth's. It's got a delicious nut taste to it, and it's a little spicy because I did put behind the scenes, I sprinkled some cayenne pepper into the peanut sauce. So this is absolutely delicious. I'm not a huge fan of meat, so I only have a little bit of chicken in here, but I can definitely see myself making this again with just the broccoli and the noodles. It is delicious. So, thank you for watching, and there's the finished product. I'll see you tomorrow.